When you first look at it, you're sitting there go, wow, this is great. This is just like any old acronym. This will change your program. If you truly buy into this and you start the process this way. First thing is how. The how is the people of the organization. Every organization, every team, this year in 2019 is full of different people. Every one of you have different people on your team. People, not just players, people. Now, the type of person you have is going to connected to other people that you have will determine your record. Yes, X's and O's are going to be able to help. Yes, game planning is going to help. But to have an elite culture, an elite team, an elite championship, you have to have these. So what is the how? The how is the intangible part. It's the heart. It's the spirit. It's the unconquerable will. It's your players' stories. See, I love hiring coaches that have been fired. I love that. Because they have shown the ability to get back up and go interview and go perform and do something else after having something really bad happen to them. The first question I ask recruits is, what I say, tell me about your story from birth till now. What's the worst thing that happened to you? That is what I want to know. If a kid looks at me and says, I've really not had much ever happened to me, he's probably not going to fit me because I have. And I want people around me that in the face of adversity that will come, know how to respond. Your how is that journey. It's that story. So when you start to think of the how people, average people never understand elite. Elite never understand average. If you got a bunch of average mixed with elite, they'll never understand each other. You got to find a way to find the elite people. Yes, they've got to be good football players, but that's part of what you're there for. You're part there to develop and teach and educate. I've seen 2-star recruits with no offers be the 5th overall pick in the draft because he was an elite person that loved his life, that could work and get better at his craft, whether it was academically, athletically, socially, or spiritually. So that is what we're talking about when we sit there and talk about people. So going back to that, these are things I've heard my entire life. Probably a lot of you, probably maybe the program you've heard, maybe about you, maybe about your players. I will never, especially the programs I decided to take over, never have. You're too energetic. People always ask me, Coach, are you always like this? I always say, like what? I don't get it. I'm 38 years old. When I was 6, I was in baseball, football, basketball, track, hockey, pottery, anything to get out of the house because of my energy level. That's just part of what I have. That is just me. That's like me asking you, sir, right there, have you always been that way? Yeah, oh, yes, sir. You don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. He's like what? Same thing. People will criticize everything you do to try to take you down. We'll keep going on that. You're a fraud. Sooner or later, when you win a lot, you can't be a fraud. Sooner or later. I've been coach of the year twice. I've been a 1 in 11. I've been a schmuck. I've been everything. So people say you're a fraud. I'm everything. Whatever it is, I've been everything. But again, when people start labeling you, you'll either believe it or you'll sit there and say, I'm me, and you're going to make yourself the best you can be as a coach. You're all about yourself. You're all show, no substance. Whatever it is, especially when you have rivals, being able to take all of that negativity and turn it into energy within your program. And that's what we do. See, I love when people talk about our program because we don't talk about anybody. We spend all of our energy on us, and then people talk about us, that gives us attention. Right, wrong, or indifferent, bad or good, they're talking about us. I love it. When's the last time people talk about Minnesota football nationally? I'm not sure, but they talk about us. And that's what we want to continue to be able to have. Not on purpose by doing things that not us, but we're going to just be us and let everybody else worry about us. All show, no substance. 2 things you got to be able to do. You got to be able to invest in yourself and be yourself. If you are not growing and you are not changing, you will get passed up. You are all here today to learn and grow, and you might take one thing from this talk, maybe none. You are here to grow and learn. I give everybody credit for being able to do that. And then you got to just be yourself. As we talked earlier, whoever you are, just be it, but be the best version of that. Don't be anybody else. Don't sit there and say a guy on TV, say, I want to be him. No, you want to be the version of you like him. That's what we want to continue to teach our players. So that's that type of person, that never give up attitude, that never give up mantra. If I would ask all of you to think of a photographer right now, every one of you think of a photographer, what he looks like, right? Everybody knows what a photographer looks like, right? Okay, now what I want you to think of is the photographer's blind. Does that make any sense? Damn right it does. There's one of the most famous photographers who has won numerous awards is blind. That doesn't make any sense. He's a how person. If I asked you and gave you a violin and I said, play it, but I said, you only have one arm, you look at me and say, I can't. Yes, you can. One of the most famous violinists right now has one arm. If I sat there and said, hey, listen, think of the most famous swimmer, you think of somebody doing, the freestyle with both arms, both legs, but in the Special Olympics, there's somebody that actually doesn't have all of that. And she actually trains in the Amazon River, full of crocodiles and alligators. But don't worry, her parents swim in front of her just to make sure there's not any ahead. And we sit there and think, wow, it must be Michael Phelps. The how of a person cannot be measured by a star. When you get yourself around other people just like that, you can do special things. And I will give credit. That's how Northwestern wins the Big Ten West. That is how Minnesota's going to win the Big Ten West at some point. That is how you, no matter what team you're on, are either going to win it or lose it at some point.